What's going on, guys? Kulprit here. In today's video, we're going to talk about lone wolf tactics, playing solo. In my last video, I talked about the team play effect, or what I call the team play effect, and how playing with competent teammates and guys you know and friends, or just, as a cohesive unit, can really elevate your gameplay. It can elevate your personal game and make you play a lot better. Now, the reason I kind of touched on that is that a lot of the times I play solo due to, family commitments and children and jobs and things. I get to play pretty sporadically, and even when I am playing, a lot of times I'm non-committed. I have to get up at any moment, and I touched on that. And in the comments, a lot of you guys seem to indicate you are in a very similar situation, so I feel for you guys. But these are good problems to have, of course. But a couple of you suggested that I make a video talking about kind of solo tips and tricks and tactics and what I find to help me play. And I thought that was a pretty good idea. It's something I have done. I've done it in Battlefield 4 certainly, and I've touched on it in I've done a video like that in Battlefield 3, and I've certainly touched on it in Battlefield 4, but I don't know that I've done a specific video on that topic. Another reason I had this gameplay, this is Dawnbreaker TDM. It's very recent, and I remember vividly playing this game mode and focusing on specific things, and I'm going to touch on that a little bit in a little while. So I wanted to share this gameplay, and I thought it meshed really well with the topic at hand. So what I'm going to talk about is 4 points, basically. One is kind of an overall general point, and then there's 3 kind of tactical points. And these 3 kind of tactical points kind of make up my lone wolf strategy, if you will. And they're things that help me get through the game sometimes, because we all know, I'll just flat out say, playing Battlefield 4 solo is not as fun as playing with a group. I can say that. I'm pretty sure of that at this point. It's not necessarily easier or harder. It's definitely a different animal playing solo versus playing in a unit. But I just enjoy playing with other players much better. Sometimes it has to be the right players, obviously. But it adds layers of intrigue to the game and interest to me. The tactical and strategic and teamwork and communication. There's just so much more to it when you're playing as a squad. But I do enjoy playing solo, and one of the main reasons I enjoy playing solo is, you guys know, if you've been a member of my channel or a subscriber to my channel for any time now, I like the challenge of getting better. If a game comes easy to me, I grow quickly bored and I move on. That's why I think I stick with Battlefield. It offers so much of a challenge to me. It's not a game that really comes natural to me. A lot of what you see in front of you is fabricated. It's something I've worked on very hard to get to, and I enjoy that challenge and I enjoy that grind. It's just a part of my personality, it's who I am, and that absolutely translates into gaming. So my recommendation to you first and foremost is, when playing solo, whatever game mode, work on your mechanics. Focus on something very specific, and I'm going to explain to you why I do that. Now, first and foremost, I should say, I keep saying that, I got to stop using that phrase. I typically play Domination and TDM when I play solo. Why? Because it's just the less stressful way to play. If you want to try Rush, Conquest, Obliteration, that's fine. You're going to get some really good matches every now and then, but a lot of times you're not. And you're less effective as a solo player. I like to play smaller cap servers, TDM, Domination. Sometimes I'll go high cap if I want to play a slower game, more tactical game, more cover. Sometimes I'll play a higher population server to force me to play that way. But this all goes back to whatever I'm working on in that match. And when I say work on mechanics, it could be anything from your gunplay, your recoil management, just picking where you reload, hip fire, running around with the crosshairs at the right height. It can be something very, very minute. Or it could be specific, or it could be something just like your decision making, your analysis, your situational awareness, your map awareness, whatever the case may be. Something very specific, something that is part of your overall gameplay, and try to improve that. And the reason I do this is it almost gives you a secondary objective, or a third objective. If you're playing Domination, sure, you want to do well, you want to perform well with this, KD score, whatever is your stat of choice. You want to win the match, obviously. But when you're playing solo, sometimes you have to, push those aside. It can be, a lot of times you don't really have much of a say in whether you win or lose, frankly, as a solo lone wolf player. And your performance, your KD, it can be tough. You can get chewed up if you're trying to really carry the team to victory. So having this alternate objective, saying, all right, so you know what, I pulled out like a 2 KD there, we lost the match, I didn't do too great, but you know what, I really feel like my hip fire improved. So there you go, you have a third option to kind of feel good about that experience and be happy about your play there. And I think it just gives you added ability to improve as a player and to just flat out enjoy yourself. Now, as far as tactically what I typically do 2 things, and it's kind of, they're contrarian to each other, but the reason I do this is because I find out, especially as I play low population servers, I have to, kind of change my gameplay. as you're playing 12v12 and you're doing effectively and you're killing people, they're going to tend to remember you and they're going to remember what you're doing. So if you stick to one tactic or one strategy, they're going to kind of start to counter you. At least the good players are. And if you're watching videos trying to figure out good tactics for solo play, I'm assuming that means you want to start beating the good players. It doesn't take much to beat the bad players, just good solid player. You're gonna win out on those, no problem. But when you're coming up against good players, and how you perform against those good players is really what separates those, 20 and 15 matches into those 35 and 10s. It's those good players that are going to kill you routinely. So I basically have two sets of tactics that I switch up. And as I feel like I'm starting to get heat or I'm starting to get countered one way, I switch it up to another way. And so the first one I'm going to talk about is the kind of the kill box. And but what I do here is, especially on Domination, this works really well, and TDM, this works really well. Go on a map, especially here on Dawnbreaker, where you can go in there, kind of watch the ebb and flow. Watch your mini-map. You can pull up the large map. Just watch. See where your enemies are going. See where the two teams are kind of clashing. If your enemies are not appearing on the mini-map, a good way to do this is watch where your friendlies are dying. Watch your mini-map. See where your friendlies are running to, and then they're kind of stalling out. They're kind of grinding to a halt, and they're dying. And that's going to give you kind of a sense of where the front line is. Now, once you have this kind of bit of information, map awareness and map knowledge is going to really help you to know where they're probably spawning from. So you know where they're winding up, you know where they're spawning. What I want you to do is go and position yourself in between those 2 points. Now, what's very important here is don't physically position yourself in between those 2 points. You don't want to be physically in between them, because you're just going to get overrun and you're going to die. What I want you to do is pick a position, typically on the flanks, good cover, good defensive, good assaulting. You can really kind of have an advantage there, but yet focus your kill box, your effective range, your where you can project your lethality into the path of A to B. And basically what you're doing is you're setting up a kill box. And this is, I'm not a military guy, this is just kind of my basic understanding of it. So in essence, here I am. The enemy's spawning up this hill on A. Dawnbreaker is actually a very good map for it. It's very linear, so a lot of times they're going to spawn way up in the parking lot, and they're going to run down. And most of the time you clash around the B flag on Domination and the overpass, the balcony walkway there, those types of spots. So you can kind of easily predict. Find a good spot, find a good head glitch or something like that, some good defensive position where you can shoot into this from their flank, and you're just going to chew people up, and you're going to get a whole bunch of kills there. Now, what you got to be careful of is, first of all, you just need to understand you're going to die. You're going to get overrun. Eventually, as you kill your first wave of guys, they're going to go, all right, that guy's there. Then, especially if you kill him a second time, they're like, all right, I got to go get this bastard. And they're just going to start coming at you. And eventually, you are going to get overrun. Just it's okay. TDM and Domination, by an extent, are just a matter of how many people you can take with you. And the good players take 5 or 6 players with them before they die. This type of role, I really like an LMG, because you want to make sure you have plenty of ammunition, because a lot of time it's going to be you against 3, 4, 5 guys. Make sure you got an escape plan, because you're probably to get some kind of nades or explosives thrown at you. And again, the idea is to stay alive as long as you can, take as many with you. You're going to cut off the enemy from getting to that B flag possibly, and your team's going to be able to cap it. I find this pretty effective. Now, what's going to happen is, as you do this successfully, people are going to become aware of it. They're going to start to counter it, as I said. And that brings me to my other kind of play mode that I do, and I call this posting up, or you can come at me, or King of the Hill, whatever you want to call it, but I typically call it posting up. And this is kind of what I'm doing in this video. I'm kind of taking a sector of the map, I'm clapping my flag down and go, this is mine. I'm going in there, I'm clearing it out, and you see me doing this up on the second floor of this building here quite a bit in this video. This is my area. Get out. I control this, and I'm gonna defend this. I'm gonna fight for this every step of the way. I know I'm doing this. The enemy doesn't know I'm doing this. And I'm going to basically assume there's an enemy around every corner. There's 2 enemies behind every guy I'm targeting. I'm just going to be really ready for a fight. I'm never going to... I refuse to be surprised. I refuse to be surprised. If you refuse to be surprised, you're not going to be surprised. And, you might cross some corners where you're ADSing, where there's no enemy. You might be a little embarrassed. Doesn't matter, because when you do turn that corner and there is a guy there, you can chew him up and drop him before he even sees you. But basically what you're doing is you're kind of... And this really works in TDM, is you're going to go in a sector and you're going to cause a ruckus. You're going to kill people. And when I get to my 4th point, it's going to go hand in hand with this. You're going to cause a ruckus. You're going to kill people. People are going to get angry. They're going to try and root you out. Now, you can start implementing this into objective gameplays like the Domination, where you can say, B flag, mine. A flag, mine. This flank is mine. You can't have this. It's mine. I'm going to post up in this building. Coming to try to get me. I have all the the initiative. I have the better positioning. You're on the aggression. I'm standing still. The benefits of that in Battlefield 4. You're gonna just basically claim all the advantages to your own, and make them come and get you. And again, the objective here is to take out as many as you can. It can be just about anywhere on the map. You just have to make sure you're going to get enough attention, because that is the overall goal. Now, the fourth point is what I'm going to talk about here, and that goes really good hand in hand with that, is people always return to the scene of the crime. Be aware this is a solo player, especially in TDM. When you kill someone, expect him to be back at you very quickly. And we know TDM timers, domination timers, very quick. You could kill a guy and he can be back at you within 30 seconds. So don't just, once you've killed someone, assume your position is known, assume your position is not safe, and expect a second wave coming very, very soon. This can be used to your advantage. If you're conscious of this, prepare for it. All right, I just killed the guy right here. There's good cover there. I'm going to go take that cover. The team's generally spawning over there. This guy's going to be here in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. You'd be surprised how quickly that same guy you just killed rounds that corner at full of rage, full speed, running around a corner, not ready, and you're going to get an easy kill on him again. Now, these are the type of things that good players just do instinctually. They pick up these cheap kills. And it's not to say it's cheap, but they get those easy kills that really start to pad that KD. And that's what I feel when I start thinking like this, and I start doing this, or I start not even thinking about it, it just happens kind of instinctually. That's when my gameplays and my scores and things really start to go up. So there you go, guys. There's just a couple talking points. Please give me some of your best tips for playing Lone Wolf. It is kind of a difficult thing to do for some people. I know I have ups and downs with it, certainly. So if we could get like a whole bunch of tips in the comments, we get a bunch of really good ones, I'll make a second part for this video and hopefully get some word out to some people so we can start improving all of our gameplays. That is, after all, as I've said, quite a bit of the point of my challenge. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys use any of these types of things? What do you call them? Because like I said, I kind of have some goofy little names for them. But like always, guys, hope that helps you out. Hope that can kind of enhance your game a little bit. I appreciate your support, guys. Hit that like button if you listened so far and if you enjoyed it. And I will talk to you soon, guys. Take care.